The Raptor used to be the status symbol of masculinity, and now it's basically just associated with men with purses that also go to Starbucks. We're going to compare that to a real man's truck, and that is the RHO from Ram. I'm going to link to the Ram and Provo and the Ford and Provo's websites in the description down below. They're providing us with both of these trucks. Let's get right into it. The RHO has a twin-turbo 3-liter inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic. It produces 540 horsepower and then 521 pound-feet of torque, and you can expect to get mid-teens with both of these trucks, frankly. The Raptor has a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. It produces 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. Now, you can tune this engine to produce more power, but stock, yeah, it's behind. If you're looking for a review on a vehicle, I've probably reviewed it, so just look it up. And make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with everything. The RHO has the wide body Baja truck thing going on, and it's pretty much perfect. I mean, you can see gigantic fenders and fender flares. We also have a steel bumper here at the bottom, recovery points. I mean, you've got freaking marker lights there in the hood vent. Now, the Raptor definitely looks mean and aggressive. I mean, look at the headlight design, giant marker lights. You've got this modular bumper because this one has the 37 package. So it's got a better front approach angle because of that, especially just getting the tire up onto something. Now, tires are very important. The Raptor, you can get it with 37s. This one has 37s. The RHO only offers 35s, but 35s, that's more than enough tire for the trucks, frankly. I do like the Raptor wheel design. I think it's kind of a little bit more off-road styled compared to what you have with the RHO. Now, both of these have side steps on them. And look at those hips. Always got to appreciate a good set of hips on a truck. Now, being a 37 package, we've got dual valve, live valve. It's a pretty sophisticated suspension system, constantly adjusting with the shocks and everything. The RHO has Blackhawk, which also adjusts not as frequently as the Raptor, but more than enough. Now, here's a side profile of the Raptor. It's pretty level front to rear, and again, you can see the travel. And the Raptor, if you have 35s, does have a bit more travel compared to the RHO. The Raptor with 37s here has about the same amount of travel as the RHO. Now, when it comes to the design of the RHO, I don't know, I think it looks a little bit cooler, like that vent there on the front fender, for example, and kind of like the rounder look with the fenders in general. It just looks better. LED lights, you guys can see we've got bed liner with this as well, and yeah, it's a regular truck bed. You do have a ruler here in the back. We also have the tailgate step system, and it is power up. You can just press that button right there. This also has LED lights and, yeah, bed liner, which is definitely a nice feature to have. No ruler or anything. And then the tailgate is power up too. So both of them have that fancy feature. Both trucks have a full-size spare underneath. And this is where you notice the RHO actually sits pretty darn tall. Again, that Raptor has the 37s, but you'll note next to each other, it doesn't really make the Raptor sit higher whatsoever. And I do love the exhaust tip recovery point situation on both of them. It's very aggressive, but also it does get in the way of departure angle a little bit if you're doing a more crazy crawling. Legroom in the back of the RHO is really good. We've got a little storage pocket, got some cup holders. You can see the little carbon fiber trim, heated ventilated seats, USB ports, 400 watt inverter. And this is really nice with the seats. Very high quality. Same thing with the door panel trim. We do have a power sliding rear window, and then this does come down a bit for the headroom. Now in the back of the Raptor, got good legroom. Little storage pocket there. Got some cup holders, heated seats in the back. So not as many features. And again, the materials, I mean, this is comfortable enough, but it doesn't feel as high quality. Same thing with the door panel trim. Headroom's pretty similar. We do have power sliding window in the back. Blind spot warning with the RHO. Thicker glass up front. This is really nice with the trim. The mirrors do power fold in. You got massage seats, memory seats. Payload on this is 1312. Towing is going to be a bit over 8,000 pounds on both of them, actually. You can see RHO there. Again, really nice materials. Getting in's easy with the steps. Also, the pedals, fancier looking. Be able to step up and start this bad boy up. Full digital cluster. Steering wheel is pretty cool with the style. Got nice paddles on the back. You have like adaptive cruise. You've got lane centering with it as well. Heads-up display there. Really nice trim all across the dash. And backup camera, 360 camera system with this. Not a huge screen view though. And this screen can be a little bit laggy with the response, so that's another downside. I do have 4 auxiliary switches. Full-time 4-wheel drive system with 2-speed transfer case. It does have launch control as well as the rear diff lock. Bunch of drive modes too. Speaking of 2, there's 2 phone charging pads. Got Got a lot of storage here with the shifter. You've got the RHO plaque and center console's big. And then you'll note that, yeah, got a passenger screen. Kind of a waste, but some people like it. Camera rear view mirror and then a panoramic sunroof. Blind spot monitoring. You got thicker glass up front, and this is really nice with the trim. Front 2 windows are automatic. The mirrors power fold in, memory seats. $13.44 for the payload. And these seats are very sporty. Again, the materials definitely feel cheaper. Plastic with the pedals. Again, the side steps help out quite a bit. And full digital. Now, I do think the steering wheel on this kind of looks maybe a little bit cooler in certain ways. The paddles, I think, are definitely cooler. You got adaptive cruise, all of that, so heads-up display too. Tech is pretty similar. 360 camera is a little bit better because of the horizontal screen display. And look at that, no stupid passenger screen. Ford will probably get one in the future because, oh, tech, right? Anyways, we've got physical buttons for the climate, which I really appreciate. I mean, this is all kind of easier to use than what's in the Ram. And you'll note, part-time system. Doesn't have a full-time system. Still has a 2-speed transfer case and 4-wheel auto and a diff lock for the rear. Lots of storage here. And look at this. You've got one big center console centralized so that you and your boyfriend can both put your purses in there together. It's beautiful. And then you got that folds out. No camera rear view mirror, 6 auxiliary switches, panoramic sunroof. Now, when it comes to pricing, the RHO is about $89K. The Raptor is about $94K with this 37 package, so it's actually more expensive. Let's drive them. I'm gonna drive the RHO first because, well, I'm stalling. I don't want to be seen in that girly truck, but it's my job. I gotta do it. In all seriousness, though, I think it's crazy the the arc that the Raptor's gone through, because I remember when the Gen 1, right, started to get big, the Raptor was like the symbol of masculinity, right? That and diesel trucks. It was like, if you're a manly man, you either drive a diesel or you drive a Raptor. And that continued with the Gen 2. It's like it was like synonymous with masculinity. And now it's just not anymore. Like, now when you look at a Raptor, it's like all I think about is Starbucks, dudes who skip leg day. Like, every single like, it's crazy. I bet if you did a survey, and when I say survey, you just did a test where you took a picture of the legs of every single person getting out of a Raptor, you'd find that like 95% of them have never lifted with their legs in their entire life. Like, it's crazy. It is like the truck of chicken legs. It's so weird. Chicken Little truck is what we'll call it. And I feel like all the, you know, off-road, like a lot of the off-road enthusiasts have now gone over to the RHO. Because although the Raptor still has a lot of cool stuff going for it, they're expensive, and it's like you can get such a big discount on the RHOs. They're easier to get that, I don't know, the money just makes sense. It's like, if you're gonna beat up the truck anyways off-road. And then plus, like, the inline 6, it's got power, smooth power, sounds pretty cool. I mean, they're both 6 cylinders, so neither of them are gonna sound like incredible, you know what I mean? Sounds cool though. And it's just a good engine. It's just a good engine. It's pretty fuel efficient too. Some people are getting, like, you know, averaging over 20 miles per gallon with some of these RHOs and certain trips that they're taking. And again, the power. Oh yeah. It's actually fun. Super fun. It's got a good top end. Yeah, they did a great job with this truck in terms of the drive. So don't let the Ford fanboys bully you, because like I said, you're arguing with Chicken Little at this point. Like, seriously, just whenever you see a Raptor, just look at who's driving it. Just look at who's driving it. And you know what? This is just something that happens whenever you have something that's associated with coolness or masculinity. You always get, I don't like to use words like this, but like I can't think of a better word. You always get like the beta males that end up going and buying that because like they try to masquerade as something they're not. Like the same thing happened with Tesla. Tesla was like the cool guy car, and then you had a bunch of beta dudes go and buy it because they thought they would get girls. You'll never get a girl. It doesn't matter what car you drive. It'll never attract women. Let me tell you that. As a married man, I can tell you, it doesn't work. But yeah, it's like the same thing's happened to the Raptor. So it's like the actual cool guy has got to go and find a different vehicle to drive so that they're not associated with Chicken Little anymore. So let's go pop into the Raptor. Okay, let's get this over with quick so the homies don't see me driving this girly thing. I'm just kidding. So here's a benefit of the Raptor over the yard show. Part-time system, so the steering is lighter, and on-road it does feel a little bit more direct in a way. When you have a full-time four-wheel drive system, it always it makes things a little bit less direct with the steering because you've got power going to all four wheels. The suspension is more comfortable with this too. I like the RHO suspension because I can feel what's happening in the road. The truck's already very isolated, and so having something, because you can't feel anything through the steering really, having something to let me know what's happening is nice. But yeah, the softer suspension is probably why the Raptor attracts the softer crowd, because the RHO is just too manly for him, you know what I mean? So softer suspension. The seats in the RHO are more comfortable than these seats, but the base Raptor seats are very comfortable, as comfortable as what you have in the RHO. The engine, yeah, it just doesn't have the same response. That's the biggest downside. It's got a decent amount of lag, and it just doesn't have the, it doesn't have the top end of the RHO. The RHO is just, that engine, like, even if you're like a hardcore Raptor cultist, you got to appreciate the performance of that twin turbo inline 6. If you haven't driven one, go drive one. It's free to test drive, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It scoots. It can get out of its own way. No problem. Both of them are pretty insulated cabins, I think. But the interior in this is not like the worst, but Ford really needs to step up their game when it comes to materials. Like, they either need to have like the most durable, like, I'm okay if materials aren't as nice if they're insanely durable. That's why I love like the Wrangler interior, for example, and the new Bronco interior is that way too, where the materials aren't the nicest, but they are very durable. I've seen Broncos and Wranglers with high mileage, and the interiors still look great. But yeah, the F-150 interiors, they do good, but I don't know, the Raptor interiors, I've seen like even with 20,000 miles, there's wear. So just not in the same level here. So, I mean, I still think the RHO is a better value because, again, you can get discounts on it. It's, you know, less money with the MSRP loaded up versus a Raptor loaded up. So you're already saving money from that perspective. It's not bad. It just doesn't have the top end of the RHO. The RHO has a much stronger top end. Much stronger. But, you know, Raptor cultists are like Toyota cultists. No matter how much logic you give them, they won't give in to common sense. It's still a good truck. It's still the OG. It's the best Raptor yet. And, you know, off-road, the Raptor is going to edge out a little bit, but they're both insanely capable, more capable than most people driving the trucks can even use. So, let me know if you're Team RHO or Team Raptor.